like you're ready to go.
Hello. Welcome back to episode 2 of Wheeler Takes here on Wider Kalamazoo. I'm your host, Chris Wheeler, and we're going to recap Broncos sports this past week. Even though it was fall break, the Broncos still found a way to get back to it for sports. Lots to talk about today here on Wheeler Takes, lots to cover. This past week, we're going to start off with volleyball here at Western Michigan University. This past week saw the Western Michigan volleyball team sweep in-state conference rival Eastern Michigan Eagles in Ypsilanti. The first game saw Kiana Salesman and Maggie King combine for 22 kills, 12 from Salesman and 10 from King. 33 assists from Logan Case as the senior student has finally eclipsed the all-time assist leader here in Western Michigan program history. The second game saw Maggie King and Kiana Salesman once again combine for over 23 kills and 33 assists yet again from Logan Case as she continues to make history here this season for the Broncos. The volleyball team looks very dominant this season, boasting an overall record of 21-2 and 8-0 at home, 11-0 in the MAC. They're set to take on their MAC East Division rival, the Buffalo Bulls. This won't be no cakewalk for the Broncos or no easy task, that's for sure, as the Buffalo Bulls boast the second best record in the MAC behind WMU with a 9-2 record, who leads the MAC East Division while the Broncos lead the MAC West Division. However, with the fans and students surrounding them this upcoming weekend in Kalamazoo at University Arena, I'm sure the Broncos look to capitalize on the astounding home crowd. Way to go, ladies. Moving on to WMU hockey, the 50th season celebration continues as the Broncos lay waste to the Bowling Green Falcons this past weekend in hockey. The Broncos, America's team, look very sharp in their sweep victory of Bowling Green. In Game 1 on the road, Deacon Dylan Wentz scored 2 goals, Luke Danger scored, Joe Cassetti scored, and the Anaheim Ducks NHL draft pick Sam Colangelo scored to win the game 5-2. And then here in Game 2, after being on the road, they returned home to Lawson Ice Arena, what I personally like to call the Death Star of college hockey. You see, there's a Death Star in Star Wars, and then in real life, the reality, there is Lawson Ice Arena. Lawson Ice Arena, the Death Star. The Stormtroopers are the Lawson Lunatics. The hockey team is Darth Vader. And Pat Ferschweiler, our beloved coach Pat Ferschweiler, he is Emperor Palpatine, whether people like it or not. And in Game 2 in front of the loudest, toughest student section in all of collegiate hockey, the Lawson Lunatics, the Broncos repeated the score of the day before. The Broncos won 5-2 off of Sam Colangelo's hat trick. With a bye week here shortly, the team is concentrated and focused on getting some rest and watching some film for their in-conference upcoming NCHC rival, the Omaha Mavericks. Bronco hockey celebrates 50 years as a Division I program here at WMU. With each home series, Bronco Athletics brings out special guest and alumni Hall of Fame players who have contributed to the success of this great university. With 2 conference championships, 8 NCAA tournament appearances, and 5 Great Lakes Invitational championships. As for me, the way I'm going to be commemorating these 50 years of Bronco hockey, I, Chris Wheeler, decided to conduct a list of the 50 greatest players that have ever laced up a pair of skates here at Western Michigan in the last 50 years. In the words of Chris Wheeler, we them boys, and we're going all the way. So, Broncos country, let's ride. You're listening to Wheeler Takes here on 89.1 Wider FM. Moving on to WMU football, Coach Lance Taylor and the Broncos went back on the road to take on MAC East Division rival, the Ohio Bobcats. The Broncos walked into this contest taking on the team in the Ohio Bobcats, who was actually ranked 5th best defense in all of FBS Division I football, only behind Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. The Broncos fell short only 20-17. They almost could have scored a touchdown to win the game, falling just to a 2-6 record on the season in Coach Taylor's first year as a coach and a cast of whole and new and young players. They played fantastic, and they were very close to winning the ball game. Hayden Wolf completed 30 for 42 passes, threw the ball for nearly 300 yards against a top 5 defense in the country. He also scored a rushing touchdown. This weekend coming up, Halloween weekend, they go to Eastern Michigan, in-state MAC rivalry, to take on the Eastern Michigan Eagles in hopes of securing a win for the Michigan MAC trophy between them, Eastern Michigan, and that team from up north in Mount Pleasant. Speaking of that team up north in Mount Pleasant, they actually just lost by a touchdown to Ball State, the same team that the Broncos beat 42-24. We smashed them at Waldo, and that same team won by a touchdown, beating the team up north in Mount Pleasant. You see, you're curious. I know you guys are driving on the road or sitting in class, sitting in your apartment, wondering, who is he referring to, the team up north? Well, just know they're based out of Mount Pleasant, and I am surely excited. We're only less than 2 weeks away from seeing them here at Waldo for the Battle of the Cannon. And I feel as though us students here at Western Michigan, even athletics, we shouldn't even have to mention them by name. You know, I'm so tired of hearing people say, oh, well, screw that team in Mount Pleasant and whatnot. No, we shouldn't even have to mention them by name. Just call them the team up north in Mount Pleasant. Kind of got that into the system here, and I hope it's implemented. Moving on to other colleges. In other news, the impending Michigan football investigation has gravitated all of the headlines at all the colleges. Michigan, the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, is being investigated for sign-stealing allegations, as the NCAA Commission is accusing Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the Wolverines, and his Michigan staff of recording future opponents' playbook signals and showing them to potential recruits and commits. In a recent interview, Jim Harbaugh stated he is obligated to cooperating with the allegations implemented by the NCAA. The Michigan Wolverines, led behind J.J. McCarthy, the DoorDashing quarterback, and Blake Corum, are second in the country behind Georgia with a 6-0 record and has the top 2 power offense and defenses in the country. As far as McCarthy, listen, I'm not bashing on him. I don't even care if he's listening. It really doesn't faze me what you think anyway, because like The Rock says, it doesn't matter what you think, because I believe J.J. McCarthy is a decent quarterback. We said it in episode 1 of Wheeler Takes. He's a decent quarterback. He's not the type of guy you'll be like, well, I want to build my NFL team around him. Because if you ask me, he is the second coming of Zach Wilson in the NFL, believe it or not. Yes, it's going to happen because C.J. Stroud was way better. Michigan just got the better advantage. And no, I'm not being biased to Ohio State. My dad was a diehard Ohio State fan. I don't like them either, because this whole mantra of being the world's famous Buckeyes and what really makes y'all famous to the world besides being owned by Michigan every other year in the game. But the power of this, going back into Michigan, the power of this full-on display of the dominance of this Michigan Wolverines football program this year was put on display against a Mid-American Conference school over in East Lansing, Michigan State University, a poverty school who is already looking ahead to basketball season since their football program is on the verge of getting deleted. You guys are a disgrace. Michigan State and all your fans, I want you to know this. Y'all are a disgrace to college football, okay? I really think y'all football team should be playing Division II. I really think your basketball team is okay. You know, you guys rank 4th in the country. I just find it, a little funny that you guys are already posting basketball highlights and college football still going on. I mean, you guys are only relevant barely in March. Tom Izzo, I'm thankful we got his assistant coach, Dwayne Stevens, coaching the Western Michigan basketball team here this year. But I got to be honest with you, I do not like Michigan State. I don't like UofM. I think both of the schools are despicable. That goes for anything. Like I said, it's Broncos versus everybody. Kazoo versus everybody. That's the way I see Michigan State and UofM. But going into this game, despite the allegations, Michigan took on MSU in a battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy in East Lansing. It wasn't even a contest. Quite frankly, the Sparty should have just stayed home. Listen, you guys should have stayed home, just went to Harper's or something. Y'all had no business, especially Cole McMillan. Y'all had no business being at that game in East Lansing. Because, hey, you know what? maybe you guys were waiting. Maybe you guys were waiting for somebody to come save the day. Maybe you were waiting for Mel Tucker because I know you guys always say Tuck is coming. Tuck is coming. But maybe Tuck wasn't coming. He didn't came that day. But he wasn't coming that day to save Michigan State from the dismantling by courtesy of the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan won in dominant fashion, winning 49-0 to bring the trophy back home to Ann Arbor, extending their record to 7-0 in the season and extending the rivalry between them 79-38. See, I don't even like to call that a rivalry. I like to call that a full-on bloodbath because for anybody to say Michigan State has an opportunity to beat Michigan this year or the next year after that, I think it's foolish. I think Michigan State is a really good team here in the MAC conference. They could contend with Toledo maybe and Ohio maybe. They could contend with those guys winning the MAC. But in terms of Big Ten talent, I just don't think Michigan State has what it takes. And, I could be on I could throw myself out under the bus here. When I was a kid, yeah, I've been seen wearing Michigan State gear and stuff, but, that was my original dream college. I wanted to go wrestle there, be a, college wrestler, be a WWE superstar eventually. But as I got older, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of glad I didn't go to Michigan State because y'all are always in the news for the wrong reasons. Just like U of M, man. Just like U of M. U of M got these allegations going, but I'm not even going to get into the news and headlines that Michigan State been making this year. And since in the past, y'all always find a way getting the news because when it comes to Michigan State and when it comes to the University of Michigan, what can go wrong, it'll go wrong. And I can also say the same for the head coach at the team up north in Mount Pleasant, Jim McElwain. That guy, I guess Barstool got a video. If you want to go check that out, go look up a Barstool Sports video. Just look up Shark, the animal, Shark the manimal, Shark and Jim McElwain. That's all I'm going to tell you because we're not really going to dig into that here on Wheeler Takes Live on 89.1 Wider FM. Moving on to the MLB playoffs. Well, let's see what's currently going on in the show here as the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros continue the MLB playoffs with a hard-fought back-and-forth series on the field. With the series being tied 3-3, Game 7 is tonight if you want to watch it tonight at 8:30. Game 7 is tonight, and it's winner go home. Are the Rangers going home or the Astros going home? We'll just have to find out and see. The Arizona Diamondbacks lead the Philadelphia Phillies 3-2, hoping to close that series out tomorrow. And tomorrow night as well. So that's what's going on in the show right now. I still do my best to try to keep up with baseball and all that other good stuff because me, personally, the primetime sports here on Wheeler Take will always be basketball, football, wrestling, and hockey. That's just the way it is. And I always say, if you don't like what I have to say about your favorite team, come on into the studio. You know where to find me. I'm right out here talking about your team, criticizing your team, critique. You're probably like, man, who's this guy think he is? I asked the same thing about Skip Bayless and Max Kellerman and Shannon Sharp and Ryan Rollins, all these guys. I'm like, who do these guys think they are, thinking they have a say in something? Well, if you can't handle the heat, you're best to get out the kitchen. Well, moving on to the NHL. The NHL is back. The greatest show on ice is back, which means Hockey Town, USA is back skating on the ice. And the Detroit Red Wings beat up on a long rival, Sidney Crosby, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dylan Larkin had 6 points, and Alex DeBrincat scored 2 goals. Then in a revenge game against his former team, newest star player, right winger Alex DeBrincat got some payback of revenge as the Red Wings beat the Ottawa Senators as they beat them 5-2. Recently also, the Detroit Red Wings took on the Calgary Flames, and DeBrincat went crazy again in that game and scored a hat trick. Honestly, with Stevie Y over in the Red Wings and Brad Holmes over in Detroit Lions, both of those two guys in the kitchen cooking for the Red Wings and Lions. Listen, the city of Detroit the city of Detroit is being put back on the map as the Lions were 5-1 and the Wings are 5-1 on their respective seasons. It's good to see Hockey Town looking real good. I'm looking forward to what Stevie Y is bringing forward because we getting guys like the Brinkett being main scorers and Dylan Larkin facilitating all around the ice. I'm confident to see who we keep adding on in our journey to continuously increasing why we are America's team of the NHL. You're listening to Wheeler Takes here on 89.1 Wider FM. The NBA is back. Only one more day, 24 hours until the NBA is back. Opening night of the NBA will see LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously what's on my jersey. The Los Angeles Lakers will take on the current reigning 2023 NBA champion, Nikola Jokic, otherwise known as the Joker, and the Denver Nuggets. The Lakers hope to gain some revenge on the Nuggets as they were swept 4-0 by the Nuggets in the 2023 Western Conference Finals. Will the Lakers achieve payback? Will Anthony Davis stay healthy? Or will Jokic and the Nuggets provide them with some Halloween spooky vibes of the fact that you have to beat a man, you have to beat the man. And it'll be spooky. Is LeBron getting too old? We'll have to find out tomorrow for NBA opening night. The next matchup on opening night sees Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors take on, I kind of hate saying his name. He doesn't deserve to have his name come out of my mouth, but Kevin Durant's Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, who in my eyes, not whatsoever, Kevin Durant, I want not just Kalamazoo, I want the whole world to hear this. You ready? Kevin Durant, the NBA player right now, number 35 for the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant is not a Hall of Famer. That's right. I said it. I said it live on the air for everybody, anybody that's tapping in right now and those who are going to be watching on the YouTube channel. Kevin Durant's not a Hall of Famer. I just don't see that he has a established resume to be considered qualified for the Hall of Fame. And take it or leave it, if you don't like what I gotta say, like I said, you know where to find me. You know where I'm gonna be at. You wanna sit in, you wanna debate me, I'll guarantee you will lose. Well, okay. And obviously, outside of his Hall of Fame status, he's a great player, 4-time scoring champ. He has a very established resume as an NBA legend, one of the best scorers to ever play the game. But I just don't see, statistically, what qualifies him for being a Hall of Fame talent. Because Kevin Durant, he has something more to prove to me. And, earlier this year, back in April, I said that on Instagram on Bleacher Report, and Kevin Durant's brother, his own brother, I think his name is Terrence Durant. Yeah, Terrence Durant commented on my comment on Instagram, and I'll even show, if you ever wanted me to show you a screenshot, I'll show you. Terrence Durant commented on my Instagram, I said, he's still not a Hall of Famer. He has said, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he was so shocked he had to comment on me. But you know what? You live in rent-free. You live in rent-free in the name of Chris James Lee Foster Wheeler. Or like Montel's Uncle Mike would say, June 1st, 2000. Well, back into the NBA news. As Kevin Durant will have to rely on Devin Booker and the newly acquired Bradley Beal to overcome the new squad of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and one of the greatest point guards to ever play, legendary seasoned veteran Chris Paul. The NBA action kickoffs tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. on TNT. And you're listening to Wheeler Takes here on 89.1 Wider FM. Moving on to the NFL, Week 6 of the NFL begins with a heartbreaking loss for the New Orleans Saints as they lose an AFC South, NFC South, the Thursday night primetime game, 31-24 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Saints QB Derek Carr throws a potential game-time touchdown to tight end Foster Moreau, who dropped it in the end zone with only seconds remaining in the fourth quarter to lose the game, 31-24. Okay, I hate to say this. Bear down. Bear down. The Bear was down for Chicago as the Bears defeated the Las Vegas Raiders behind a former Division II, repeat that, Division II college football quarterback Tyson Bagent. As the Bears improve to a 2-5 despite do 2-5 record, which isn't really an improvement, despite Justin Fields being injured and unable to compete. The Bears hope to not finish last in NFC North Division as the Green Bay Packers blow a game in such embarrassing fashion to the Denver Broncos out of all teams. The Denver Broncos, led by Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, of course. Now, the Denver Broncos, I seen them on Instagram recently. I guess they said they were up for sale. And I'm like, you know what? It's about damn time. Because after getting beat by 50 points on TV by the Miami Dolphins, I'm really starting to wonder any Broncos legends out there, any Denver Broncos Hall of Famers like Shannon Sharp and John Elway, Peyton Manning, Von Miller, guys like them. I really question if they're not ashamed to say they played for the Denver Broncos, because the Denver Broncos are the very best example of a team that is on the verge of the XFL. Because the Packers losing to them was so bad, I'm just like, man, is it really go Pack go still? Is Jordan Love really the owner of the Chicago Bears still? Because the Bears, your so-called son, the Chicago Bears, got a win yesterday against a tougher team. Because let's be honest, the Raiders are better than the Broncos, whether people like it or not, even with Jimmy G injured. They got a game in with a Division II quarterback. Well, meanwhile, your guy, Jordan Love, or I like to call him Jordan Haight, lost the game off a game-winning game. I'm gonna say this is a win too, because when the Packers lose, everybody else in that division lose, because they were the original American team. He throws a game pick six, which would have probably won the game if he connected downfield, because they would have kicked the field goal, maybe won by a point or two. And they end up losing 19-17. Speaking of the NFC North, how about them Lions, huh? Hey guys, don't think I'm about to bang on you. I'm not about to talk completely trash about Detroit Lions, because at the end of the day, that's Chris Wheeler's hometown, so I'm not really gonna say too much about them. But the Detroit Lions lost pretty bad yesterday. The one part, Detroit Lions got crushed in a convincing fashion to the Baltimore Ravens, falling 5-2 on the season. So they're still like on top. They're going to still win their division. They're still going to go to the playoffs. But it's like, man, you're beating up on all these bad teams. When it's time to contend with these competitors, and I know they can. They beat the Chiefs, who is arguably just as similar. Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, they're just as similar in terms of quarterbacks in this league today. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Noah Gray, all these different players that play on the Chiefs and Lions have a lot of comparisons, so I can see why the Lions got that win there. And on top of that, the Lions also really have a mediocre defense. But they were playing a team that arguably is going to pass up the Bengals and Joe Shiesty, because my opinion, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are not going nowhere this year. And I thought they'll get in the playoffs, but they definitely going to win out against the Steelers. But I feel like if the Browns was healthy, it'd be even more trouble for the Bengals. But as for the Ravens, them being healthy despite, not having Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson played a fantastic game against Detroit yesterday, y'all. He rushed for over 36 yards with a touchdown, and he threw 357 yards on the Lions. Only the Lions, man. Only the Lions. And I'm not blaming the curse of Bobby Lay. I'm not putting anything like, it was scripted or it was a script or not. No, Detroit Lions got beat down. At halftime, it was the Ravens was up 28-0. I was like, man, throw in the damn throw in the towel. It was 28-0. I'm like, I gotta throw in the towel, bro, because this is looking very bad. This is probably I was hoping, man, if the Lions end up losing 50-0 today, bro. They gonna be set back just a little bit. But okay, they got humbled a little bit. I still think Jared Goff is like that, and with the inspiration of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and Dan Quinn, all these guys, like outside of like just them on the field, these guys off the field are just role models. They putting the city of Detroit back on the map. And Dan Campbell, when he came in, he said, I'm coming, I'm biting all kneecaps. I'm not saying I'm really going to root for the Lions now because they are America's team right now. So expectations are so high on them now. Like if they lose a game, they're gonna criticize them like the 49ers, the Eagles, the Cowboys, all of those other great teams in the NFL today. So them losing, it'd be like, man, Lions, what's going on, man? Because Jared Goff is arguably in the top. He's a top 3 quarterback in the NFC. And you can't disagree with that. This man will at least give you touchdown passes. He gonna give you 250 plus yards a game. He's just as good as any other Jalen Hurts, or definitely better than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy gets carried by that super team, and don't even get me started on Dak Prescott. But we also have to take into consideration the Lions were kind of crippled. They weren't 100% healthy going into this game. But Dan Campbell said, trust and believe with all your heart, and you will do better. You win some, you lose some. So this is something the Lions have to look forward to week 7. Like, hey, man, we got to tidy up, get it together, man, because y'all might not have as many premier games as the Raiders, but y'all have to keep playing with y'all heart because y'all don't just have pride. You got the heart of Detroit on you because if the Lions win the Super Bowl, I'm going to feel really bad because I'm like, man, y'all not even going to be able to celebrate with the trophy because the city done got burned to ashes. It was already going down the drain. So city of Detroit's going to be put in ashes. It's going to be burnt down. The Super Bowl trophy going to get stolen. And, man, people that live in Detroit, y'all can't have anything nice. These Detroit fans, we talking about the same guys that throw octopuses on the ice at the Red Wings games. But we still believe in you, One Pride, so just keep your head up and look forward to week 7. Josh Allen loses another big game in the clutch to Mac Jones and the Patriots. Like, I'm a fan of Josh Allen. I can say Josh Allen is a perfect example of a quarterback you would want on your team. He is the perfect fantasy quarterback. I'm not about to sit here and just glaze the man. I'm gonna just tell you, Josh Allen he's actually fun to watch. Like watching him play, but like it seems like, man, these last few years, when it comes to like big games like this, like at least Jared Goff can prove he can win these big games, man. Josh Allen, this guy is. I would love to see Josh Allen and the Bills get to that next level. I would love to see them exert themselves in Super Bowl contention with the Eagles or the 49ers or whoever comes out the NFC. I would love to see them assert themselves and be a powerhouse in this league, especially with Stephon Diggs and Dalton Kincaid and Knox, and you got all this talent on the team. I would love to see the Bills make that push, but man, when I got to my friend's house yesterday and I walked in, they said, bro, the Bills just lost. I'm like, what? They was just up 3. Then they were showing the highlights on Red Zone coverage, and I'm like, they lost off a game-winning touchdown to Mac Jones? I'm like, I was kind of sick. I'm like, man, Josh Allen lost again? Like, this guy just lost to Zach Wilson and the Jets week 1. Like, Aaron Rodgers, of course he was going to get, I'm not wishing injury, but of course he was going to get injured within the first, 2 plays of the game. It's the Jets. I mean, ever since Joe Namath sold his soul 50 years ago to win Super Bowl III against the Colts, he beating Johnny Unitas and the Colts, he guaranteed he was going to win that game. And as he was walking around the tunnel after they won that game, and him not throwing any touchdown passes in the fourth quarter, he put his finger up walking into the tunnel. And when I watched those highlights of the football back in the day, I'm like, bro, ain't no way the Jets haven't been this good in 50 years. And Joe Namath has sold his soul to the devil himself. There's no way. But the Bills, man, this is the same team we're talking about that went to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s, lost 4 straight years. One of their star players didn't find his helmet, so he couldn't play. So they ended up getting blown out by Troy Aikman and the Cowboys. And then another game, they were a field goal away from winning that game against the Redskins, and they ended up missing the field goal. It was wide right. And then everything after that, just lost to the Cowboys again because, Cowboys took over the 90s. They were America's team, Jimmy Johnson, all of them. But, yeah. And then today you look at the Bills like, man, Josh Allen just can't catch a break, huh? Can't catch a break. And, hopefully they keep their head up, man. Josh Allen gets better. At least, let's look at the bright side. At least Bill Belichick clinched his 300th career win for the Patriots as a head coach. But don't get it twisted. Bill Belichick is not like that still. Bill Belichick is not a top 3 coach of all time. That's right. I said it. He doesn't belong in a conversation for GOAT coach. He got exposed. He's been exposed these last 3 seasons since Tom Brady left. No. Matter of fact, the fact that Tom Brady left and wins a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers the next year after that brings Gronk with him over there with the boys, with Leonard Fournette, with Mike Evans, with all of those guys, Julio Jones and Antonio Brown, all of these guys. The fact that he wins not Julio Jones, sorry, but Antonio Brown. The fact that he got all them boys over there and he won that Super Bowl, man. Get out of here with this whole Bill Belichick, man. My friend Daniel was right. Bill Belichick was a hater, bro. He was such a hater. He didn't even put Malcolm Butler in that game against the Super Bowl against the Eagles. You would have put Malcolm Butler in, they would have probably shut down. He would have probably shut down the field because that was your guy. It's the same guy that picked off Russell Wilson and the Seahawks in the 2014 Super Bowl. Man, yeah, I said it. Bill Belichick is not like that, and he is a fraud, bro. You got your second win of the season, so good luck with the rest of your season. But anyways, Taylor Swift was in attendance again for the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium as they dominated their division rival, the LA Chargers, here on 89.1 Wider FM. And they beat the LA Chargers 31-17. Justin Herbert throws yet another game interception that was going to put them at least in touchdown range, but he throws another interception to close out that game. But Patrick Mahomes played another MVP caliber game. He threw for 424 yards, had 4 touchdown passes, and I almost clicked that on FanDuel. And on 32 for 42 completions as his right-hand man, Travis Kelce caught 12 receptions on 179 yards and a touchdown for the big man. But, of course, Travis Kelce had to show out for his girl, Taylor Swift, in attendance again. I have a communications class, and it's like we were writing a journal article, how we feel about Taylor Swift in NFL. I'm going to give my honest opinion. I don't know if my other orientation leader that was orientation leader with me this summer, Eliza Burton, hearing out there, I don't like all this publicity that Taylor Swift is getting in our league. The NFL, this is a man's league. NFL, this is a league where we could the boys could just be boys, man. We could sit around, fantasy football in hand, and just watch the game and enjoy it. Man, every 5 seconds, we got to keep looking at Taylor Swift on the screen. Like, okay, we get it. She got the Eras Tour. This is, year 23, Taylor Swift year. We get it, man. But, just give it a rest, bro. I mean, the glazing has to come to an end. Honestly, I feel like Taylor Swift is the best thing in terms of a marketing tool to promote and endorse the NFL. But as for people like me, a diehard football fan, diehard sports fan, I don't want to have to keep looking at Taylor Swift after every single play. Okay, we get it. That's Travis Kelce's girl. He gonna show out and he gonna perform to his best capabilities because she's there. Wish she played like that, instead of averaging 39 yards a game when she's not in attendance. But hey, when she's there, he probably can get 300 yards next game, probably 25 receptions. Because man, he showed his behind when she there to watch him play. But to conclude NFL Sunday of Week 6, it was Alabama Crimson Tide versus Alabama Crimson Tide as the Eagles take on the Dolphins And it was a really good game. It went down to the wire, and Tua just didn't have what it takes to stop the Philadelphia Eagles and their tush push. The tush push, what keeps giving them yards. I mean, they might as well do that down the whole game at this point because there's no stopping it. There's no stopping the tush push, and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, in my opinion, they're having a Super Bowl hangover, bro. I don't think this is the Eagles from last year. Like, Swift is a pretty nice addition to that team. Dallas Goedert has risen as like a top 10 tight end in this league. A.J. Brown had a legendary game, a Calvin Johnson type game yesterday. Devontae Smith is, it's like it's 50-50. But like, the best thing I can say for the Eagles, if they win obviously they gonna probably win their division, depending on how that Cowboys defense is. They get lucky to get past the divisional round because I think they're going to lose in the second round. That's my opinion. And if they do make it to the NFC Championship, listen, because I know the Lions could definitely contend with the Eagles. Listen, when they're healthy, there's not one soul on this earth that is going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, this 49ers team is the best 49ers team I've ever seen. Like, I'm talking, you got to put them on the Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Jerry Rice level. I mean, this 49ers team is just, I'm not even trying to, kiss up to them. Everybody, even all you football fans can admit, this 49ers team is tough on both ends of the ball. You got Trey Greenlaw and Fred Warner and Nick Bosa shutting down the field. Like, I think the Steelers game a few weeks ago, I think it was week 1. The Steelers only had 1 or 2 yards on the ground? Bro, unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. That defense alone should tell you. And then on top of that, wait, this is what makes it worse. The 49ers defense is elite, but their offense is just as elite, bro. You got Christian McCaffrey who could put up 100 to 125 yards carrying on the ground. And then you got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, the best wide receiver tandem in all of football. Well, obviously, you could put Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in there, but that tandem, and then you got George Kittle at tight end. You got Trent Williams carrying that offensive line. And you got Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, towing the team. And, man, Kyle Shanahan lead that team. Man, that team is beautiful. I can't even lie. I'm not going – and obviously, I can root for maybe my cousin on that team, my cousin Ambry Thomas. He's a cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers, my blood cousin. We played Little League football when we were younger, and my dad coached him, and he went to a good high school. He went to play at the University of Michigan, and he got drafted by the 49ers. So he got a decent little career in San Fran. But other than that, the 49ers are so unstoppable, and I don't think the Eagles, even after the performance they had yesterday beating the Dolphins, I don't think the Eagles has what it takes to beat the 49ers. But to finish off here, Wheeler Takes on 89.1 Wider FM. Other news in WWE, I'm excited for Crown Jewel here in 2 weeks over in Saudi Arabia, WWE's annual pay-per-view that they host overseas. And Triple H is officially in control of all of WWE after they had that merger with UFC. And Triple H is going to have an event, Crown Jewel, and his headline match is going to be the returning Roman Reigns, who recently returned after an injury. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, is going to defend the WWE Undisputed Championship against the hottest star in WWE. They talking putting this guy in Hall of Fame level, putting him in the conversation with The Rock and Stone Cold, because his popularity is unmatched out of all wrestlers this year. And everybody says this because they know whose game is it. With everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah. L.A. Knight, man. He is who he says. He's the megastar. And he told Roman Reigns to his face on Friday Night SmackDown, I'm the main event. I'm walking over you and I'm getting to the top of the mountain where I belong. And L.A. Knight belongs in the main event. He belongs on the top of the card. Yeah. And honestly, yeah, L.A. Knight, yeah, is the best thing going in WWE, and even AEW fans are shouting his name. So LA Knight, Roman Reigns is going to be a big match. Rumor has it Randy Orton's reportedly about to return at Survivor Series in Chicago this year, and hopefully those rumors are true. But speaking of AEW, AEW got themselves a little thing going on. I know Impact Wrestling changed their names back to TNA, the Total Nonstop Action. What that was when I was growing up, TNA was like best thing to watch outside of WWE. Now then it transitioned to New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and now it's AEW, and AEW is making a big name for himself now. I see they've been engaged in WWE and a Tuesday Night War. You know, they had Adam Copeland, otherwise known in WWE as Edge. They had him appear on AEW, and they had him say, the Rated R Superstars here with Christian, the Hardy Boys, Sting. They got it, and I heard rumor has it Goldberg's supposed to be coming to AEW soon. So AEW's looking real fire right now. No hate coming from me towards that company. Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, and all that's Brian Danielson, the American Dragon over in AEW. AEW's looking real elite, and all these guys they got, man. WWE, this is what I mean about how it's so hard to match. You can't topple the WWE. You know, these are guys that put WCW out of business back in the 90s and the Monday Night Wars. NXT had a Sting come out to make an appearance. WWE decided to bring out Undertaker to make an appearance on NXT. He came on his motorcycle. Undertaker made Braun Breaker famous and chokeslammed in the ring and left him in there. I'm like, man, Undertaker. They had Undertaker, John Cena. If WWE really wanted, they could bring back big names and just heavily market them around that brand for the week. So WWE's looking really nice, hotter than ever, as well as NFL, college football, NBA and NHL is back now to watch. MLB playoffs coming to an end soon. And my Broncos. How about them Broncos? Looking really good. And I'm excited to see what happens next. But thank you for watching another episode 2 of Wheeler Takes. I know it was actually 7 minutes longer than it really was supposed to last week. But I got the whole hour time slot, so it's effective to use it. Tune in every Mondays at 2 o'clock, Wheeler Takes. If you want to come in and be a special guest, you come sit down and chair with me, and we can sit here and debate. Or if I know Wider's working on the way for us to have call-ins, so that's going to be pretty cool. And like I said, if you don't like what I got to say, come on in and be my guest, because I know you ain't going to win that debate. I'm the man. We're willing and dealing here on Wheeler Takes, but thank you for watching here from 89.1 Wider FM. This is Wheeler Takes. Have a good rest of your afternoon.